And welcome back to the Great Ace Tech Chronicles. Oh, sorry for the mute mic last time, but family over and you know all that. Order, please. Let us resume proceedings. Witnesses, you have to retake now. Well, now I take the stand. Now, great. We get to great. We get to cross-examine Vulcan Skull again. Anybody? Come on, you should get that reference. I presume you heard the defense counsel summarization. Oh, yeah, Governor. I did. Mr. Sulkin. Oh, blimey. This is gonna be hard work. Earlier in trial, you gave the following testimony about your actions when you entered base. Well, it was Bedlam as soon as it weren't it? It was it? Didn't even have to with me Lucy Lockett. However, that was a lie. You brothers, or blimey. Unlike question, you rifled through items on the victim's count. We've never done anything less than that. Well, one of them, and now you get why I get to call him Vulcan Skull, folks. Looks like the younger brother pretty much ratted them out there. And this time, will you tell the truth? Each lie passing your lips serves to increase the severity of your punishment. And that, gentlemen, may deal a crushing blow to your chances of ever seeing the light of day again. Oh, a thought worth pondering, perhaps. Say no more, squeak, squeak, we reach. Yeah, especially no one got the, no one ever referred to these two as Vulcan Skull because, come on, size-wise, and the way they're acting. Alright, we did knock a few things over, but we weren't ruffling for nothing. It was because we heard a gunshot, see? Maybe both of us jump. That's it, stuff line. It didn't happen given the fright. We was thinking the shooter came out of the door to next us. We stuck everything back where we found it and scampered right into... we couldn't have shot the pawnbroker, see? We couldn't even have a chance, did we? And yet you shot Mr. Holmes? Well, you meant the defense... Not ransack, Governor, no. Yeah, that's right, nah. That's right. It's more like tidied up, yeah. Even Von Steeks is not believing them. I'm sorry. Why, their mission, these brothers entered the pawnbroker under diverse circumstances. However, they panicked in hearing the gunshot. That made the governor. I could barely... We don't. We couldn't make us sound a bit more than cutthroat. It can't be more coincidence this man showed up at the Windbanks tonight. There's more to their testimonies than meets the eye. I'm sure of it. Even I can tell you that. And I think Von Zeeks realizes it too. is that the case? If that's the case, why didn't you testify to that effect in the first place? Oh, you know, we exactly squeak clean, aren't we? We ain't Nash. We ain't. If we admitted to something like that, people would think we wasn't up to good. Even so, you should have said something. Well said, Ringo. My old China. We land ourselves even more trouble. In fact, now, as a result of your lying in your previous testimony, that's exactly what you've done. Landed yourself in more trouble. It was rotten luck. Says the rotten apple eater. Witnesses, explain your actions to the court. Why did you ransack the victim's counter? Well, you ransacked nothing. Right now, it's more like tidy. Even he's realizing it. Sorry. It was...
Hold it!
Gunshot. So what you were saying is, the sound of gunshots shocked you as you knocked things off the counter? Well, it shocked us that much, yeah. The bag of nerves need is to learn to keep his shirt on. Look, it was loud, blimey. My dead granny would have woken up at the bag. Big egg enough to scream like a blooming baby and fell over on the counter. And looking over a candlestick and some old wooden skull whatnot. That got tangled in some marriott and knocked over a picture frame. What knocked them skill on the floor? You've really mastered working quietly then. Hey, rocket. What a rocket. My granny would have been scared into her grave chattering like that. So in short, the gunshot took you by surprise. And some, I mean, it was...
That right. Excuse me.
Well, Inspector Rickson, you have something that... Like I keep saying, I don't appreciate being lumped in with the scandals. No, something to add about their testimony? You seem to react as what Mr. Cloven said. Did you think something? It's possible, probably nothing, of course. I wouldn't bother to mention only. Well, the fact is, the case don't get solved if you ignore the little details. How about you just tell us what's on your mind? As you know, we brought these fellows in into the yard for question last night, and the statements they gave a slightly different story from what they're saying now. Did it? You claim you heard the victim shot something out before the gunshot. Might have. About now you mentioned. Granted, it only is a minor detail, but still. I can hardly help but feeling that perhaps you've done a bit of sloppy with your testimony, eh, fellows? If I discovered witnesses' testimony had been any more than sloppy, I shall be forced to bring the harshest punishment against them. Oof, easy. Will you get it right? Yeah, welcome back. Let's speak.
Objection!
So you're saying that one night in question, the victim, Mr. Moneybags, was wielding a gun. Is that correct? That's it, Gov. You got the picture. Yeah, now she asks no question. And yet, the photographic evidence obtained immediately at the incident clearly shows that Mr. Moneybags was not holding a firearm in any deception. What? God, that's not.
Objection!
There can't be any, question. The victim's revolver was used in the incident. I would remain reminded the court Mr. Moneybags' gun was found at the scene.
Hold it!
Stay exactly right where you are, right there. The crime had taken place closely as your couple was described. It would give rise to significance and consistency among the final moments of the act. Goodness, are you sure, counsel? And you tricked me, my friend, but let's see something. The autopsy report.
Take that!
According to the testimonies, the witness claimed that you heard the gun give me that gun, followed by the gunshot. Indeed, what the two events happening simultaneously, so what leads to believe. Yes, that's right. If the testimony is true, that would mean that mention that the victim's attackers faced each other. However, in the autopsy report, it clearly states the victim died instantly after being shot from behind. But, as if stated before, there is an inconsistency in your testimony. So, had a gun and it was someone said it really nice. Did you hear that right? Just right now? You actually saw Mr. Riggs holding a gun? What? Like, might have slipped out? Oh boy! Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard the admission of these two witnesses. On the night of question, they actually saw with their own eyes the victim wielding a gun. Which only means, despite their testimonies on the contrary, the Skulkin brothers must have encountered the victim in person. Not sure. God. God. Witnesses, explain yourselves at once. Well, the thing is, it wasn't supposed to. I would seem that my previous warning fell on those ears. I made it quite clear that the false witness would be that. And I understand that you replaced the untruths of the original testimony for removal of lies. I was so sorry, Governor. It is. Cut it out, Nash. Cut it out. If we blab now, you know what'll do us. Eat. Who are they talking? They think your position. You will talk. There's no other option available to you. Come on, give up. We've got the guts to get for ours. In that case, it's quite soggy and has a bite. Okay, no matter how hard you try to hide it, the truth will come out. On night of question, it apparently that you brothers met face to face with the victim. I demand you explain your testimony for the precise circumstances in which the meeting took place. Do we have to? Yes. I suggest you make yourself fully aware that this is the very last chance to tell the truth. Alright, we just got inside the gap to save Eve's a sigh of relief. The geezer showed up a smug. Give him the gun, the fellow then followed us, we got it. Around an old geezer, the bloke was strong as an ox, chucking them with a counter. I pulled the gun on him, on the leg, the door of the back room. We never had nothing to kill him, we disappeared, I swear. So you're telling us the moment before the victim was killed and so on? You in fact encountered him in the main part of the shop? Yeah, sorry. Well. We found ourselves in an interesting juncture to change the matters considerably. But, honestly, Governor, this time we ain't got nothing to hide. That's my lord. This is it. The moment I've been waiting for. You say you had nothing to do with it. Nothing at all. Nothing, got nothing. The old geezer went shut himself inside the back room, didn't he? He locked him on the inside. We know it was swear because we tried to open it. But this in the door is good as strong, it wouldn't bulge an inch. So, and in the end, the situation remains unchanged. Inside the storeroom of the pawnbroker, there was one other person. Oh boy. Alright. Would indeed appear so. What do you say to that, counsel? I don't know. Was there anyone else that could have possibly shot us? What are you looking for? What do you think? The question we must answer is, who could have shot Mr. And is it belief the defense that the defense is not the only possible answer? Lord. Oh boy. Twice as many chances to be right, maybe. Now, namely, from what location the culprit shot the victim, and furthermore, where was the victim at the time? Are you alright, Reno? It's not entirely sure, but there's one thing I'm sure about. If I can prove there's a credible new alternative to what happened, it wouldn't change its prospects hugely. So now, time to some clarifying. Show the court this plan. The answer to the question is or survival.
Take that! Take that!
Somewhere in the vault. It has to be.
Objection!
What are you saying? Oh boy. What's the message for your wife? Alright, let's try it again.
Take that! Take that!
Do you remember what the prosecutor said when stop trying? Going through the findings of Scott and Corners, which state that the bullet entered the body from a rising diagonal trajectory. That means the victim was likely shot someone similarly short in height than himself. Wow, man shot while he was running. Justin, of course. He would have been leaning forward as if he was running away. So even if the bullet was fired horizontally, it still would have entered an upward direction. So the culprit isn't necessarily so much shorter than him.
Objection!
Thanks.
Take that!
Mostly the person in the locker room was the only other person in the store.
Objection!
That's absurd. What's this one? Oh boy.
Hold it! Objection!
True. Fatty. Messy. Oh boy. Yeah, here comes the problem. No, I'm not. Oh boy. Oh boy. Possible, but problem. Alright. I dare say. Oh boy. Here we go, dear. Not again. He knows then. What? The other. Yes, sir. Teleport. How many balls were found in the scene of the crime? 2. Oh boy. This is bad. This is bad in 2 ways. This is bad. Really bad again. Here we go. This is bad. Here we go again. This is bad. Very bad. That's this. Oh boy. I figured this would come back. Bite us? Oof.
Hold it!
Oh boy, here we go. Erase and what? We had a meeting the other day, studying with the prosecutor and service. I think we agreed we wouldn't use that as evidence. What's this about? Why is this Vector acting all strangely? This is the first time he said anything to Von Sonnet at the time. I am unaware of such meeting. But those weren't the instructions right from the top. The government bigwigs were assistant. Inspector, I am the prosecutor, and I alone determine how to present my case. Your warning is noted. Thank you. The prosecution wishes to proceed submitting evidence, says my lord. Indeed. Oh boy. Here we go, again. Here we go again. Time for everybody's favorite mechanic of the game, I say. The jury's on my side for once, for all 5 minutes. Oh dear, it wasn't even 5 minutes from now. Oh lord. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Guilty.
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 Go again.
Guilty.
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 Here we go again. It's time to do the examination again. Interrogation again. This time, big time. Examine the impossible. Whatever remains must be the truth. That's the line. That's mine. I wrote. How do you think? Whereas I don't think we're finished yet. There is still one more case that we realize. There must be, because there's one thing I'm absolutely certain of. The Geonage. Very well. We will proceed with the second summonation examination of the day. Mr. Foreman, you and the other jurors are ready. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will explain the grounds. Now, before we start, I want to examine that disc since it's now containing the evidence. Hello. Oh no, look. There's blood. There is blood. Yes, and you're right. Just a small smear. Definitely blood. Actually, I feel as though I've noticed that before. That might be the time to shine. I thought we'd been waiting for it. Alright, hold still. That's that. Can we get a quick down on the rest of the flash? Hello! Wait, that looks familiar. Oh, lovely shade, bright shade again. Wait, that color. What is it? It's just that green. Is it? It's not the first time we've seen that color before, is it? Yep. Here we go. One rogue ally always is rogue, I say. Definitely a different breed to us law-abiding citizens. Since only 2 bullets were found this scene, I would say most cases done and dusted. You don't need a stethoscope to see the truth here. Even every which way you look at it, it was just that pickpocket. I never imagined simply operating could be such a grief. Such an accused attempt at death the previous day. I can see it. I'm a listener, that's right. I've seen shootings, but nothing. Oh boy. I'd rather follow the body argument put forward. But when that fell apart, house of cards, I saw the only being away. Well, no more. That's what the whole court was turning against me. It's not fair, ours. The prosecution's being mean. Just because Ronnie does something like that she shouldn't have done in the past, that doesn't make her a murderer. Allow me to savor this full vintage while I savor this fruitless of the debate in the matter. Here's the truth coming out eventually. That's enough for remember, little counselor. That had to hurt. Yes, my lord. Let's go. History of pickpocketing, doesn't it? What are you saying? Are you members of the British Army, or are you stuck with the job? I beg your pardon. Come after these forces. Very well. Oh, that's the latest of the swimming point. Making assumptions about people because they're a soldier or pickpocket is wrong and dangerous. Well, yes, might as well my point here, I suppose. Well, let's not forget, the girl already had shown she had it in front of her. She's clear of sorts, though she can't deny it. When you say that she's shown that, I was referring to this. Exactly, they tried to swipe it the other day, only one day. And earlier, arms. Well, exactly. Give me that, but the third time, it's hard to refute. I've never actually seen the real thing. I can't wait to have a closer look at it. Oh yes, of course. You're already dead. Mr. Sholmes did use his camera to make a copy, did this, and he ordered every tape of music to find out all across Europe. We don't know what tune does play to. But I'd love to see how organized compared to Hurley's copy. So my guild is this. Could it be a clue somehow? Perhaps so we should. Alright, dead.
Hold it!
If the number is it's the number of bullets that you have convinced, the only 2 bullets were fired And the guns that were fired have been examined by the police. When the parlor maid asks me how many are invited to dinner, I always tell her to count tables. Well, that's logical, I suppose. Although, what? Something after dinner crockery does go missing, or want to guess rather like fine time. Does your employer dine with these? Oh, I suppose. Touche! If there's another bullet somewhere, which we're unaware. I would love to reconsider my bullet somewhere in the scene. Not yet. Don't really. The only two bullets were to go into police or any of it. Yes, I know. Alright. I don't imagine the government in Scotland Yard looked anything. I mean, we missed the bullet clear of the whole lordship officer. Well, I actually received a sound scolding. I know, don't. We should receive a visit from the police. Perhaps it sounds like a crime scene up to me. A third bullet. It would completely turn things around if there was one we could. Do you think we mounted one lying around somewhere? I don't need...
Hold it!
So, if I understand correctly, you don't need two pictures. Left eye slightly different from the right eye on. Exactly, that's where you can see the scene in 3 dimensions. Like this. Oh, you have 2 bullets. I don't suppose you can see these. Well, I think you'll find. There's no matter how much you squint the truth, there's always something. One person, the only person. Oh, okay, you see, sure of that? Think about it. Those shot great detective, didn't they? But they did mission. That's been. It's just a waste of time. Not getting the change in the man's mind.
Hold it!
Would you please stop murdering things that might have nothing to do with this trial? The defendant's life is my life here. Well, thing is, I couldn't really say that nothing to do with this trial, to be honest. Huh? I mean, there's no question the man was shot, but the bullet had simply vanished from his stomach. But, quite impeccably, say. Oh! I was almost, as I want to ask, but the surgery you've been doing, monitoring all this time, you're the one you were operating on? What's that fellow's name now? It's Herlock Jones, by chance? Yes, good lord. It was Herlock. What? For the surgeon that operated Mr. Solon? That's right, using the latest anesthesia techniques. I admitted it, I might add it fairly obvious, you can tell you. This is lazy. Let me see, the fellow was brought to me not long at midnight, if I remember correctly. He said he was shot by some criminals, or so I opened up the shot. But the thing is, I went over inside and a fine-tooth comb, but I couldn't find any bullet, anywhere. I'm afraid I had thrown my hands up and stitched the fellow back up. I hate to state the obvious, but yes, surely there's because of the bullet of the scene. Counsel for the defense is correct, and clearly shown in the photographic print. The bulk of the Skull Brothers was then excited. On the calendar hanging on the wall. I think you quite simple if you just consider the problem in 3 dimensions. Huh? What do you mean you think I am? Huh? Well, juror number 4 is about the best I can do. As I saw the wound in the man's stomach, I flipped him over. Like a pancake? Are you saying that you checked his back? Of course I did. And there wasn't a trace of an injury, no sign of the bullet left in the back of the body at all. What? That's the point. The only logical solution was that the bullet was somewhere in the man's innards. Which is exactly why I said about slicing him up. I'm still not done wiser even now. None the wiser. How many times Can somebody please explain how it happened? Can somebody tell me? I'm almost as much as a mystery as it's a.
Hold it!
What do you mean you're for a busy forget to say excuse me, stop. I'm a communications officer, stop. A communications officer. Do you have? To the entire world. Thousands of miles of cable under the sea. Stop. Worldwide communication network. Stop. Information transmitted to and from all corners of the world. Stop. Ah, yes. She was getting quite equally worked up about radio waves or the like before she was. I specialize in communicating information from the government, departments, and newspaper offices. I see. Actually, shall have wire newspaper reports today's guilty verdict later. No sleep for me tonight, I imagine. Let's finish the Pharaohs first, shall we?
Hold it!
I thought you were just a tourist. Good day. I'm visiting London, and for sightseeing, I could take the bus on the Castle Hall. There's no way he's just a visiting tourist. So you're a ballistics expert. Who knew? I have much experience with guns. I have lived through how do you say, extreme violent bath of, no blood of, extremely violent blood blasts, perhaps. Those. Extremely violent blood blasts. English is very difficult tongue. Considering the sort of people associated with them, I'm surprised you still have a tongue. Anyway, if you have a question to ask about the bullets and guns, there's nothing I can know from this race insult. He's very confident in his knowledge of guns, that's for sure. But it's possible, please. Only in Russian language. How he's not very confident in knowledge of English, is he? No, still, but we still bear in mind. He's our man if the mystery about guns bullets. Now let's press. Now I think go back, and we have to fight back, but we have to turn this file around again.
Objection!
Try this again. Clearly could that somewhere. Oh, a ballistics expert. Kidding. On the night of question, Mr. Solms was shot by his Hogan brother, but since there is no signs of an X-wound on the back, assuming that the bullet didn't pass through him. However, the bullet was lodged in Mr. Solms' body. Furthermore, for more. The bullet was found lodged in the wall shop of Mr. Solms was shot. Number 6. Hello, my name is Brian, pleased to meet you. This apparent contradiction lies in the facts clearly the trouble jars. Or, about to explain. Are you about to impose? I have very similar situation in my motherland. It was the night there was a blizzard. I was running away from the mall. Oh, golly. The snow was piling on the snow road. It never was dangerous. My pursuers were hunting, rifling. We're on a dog sled. Metal note. Don't ask too many questions. Yes, don't. I was shot from behind and I fell down in the snow. And the situation was very similar to what I heard today from the doctor. They could not find a bullet in my body, and no sign of how you say eczema. Then where did it and the bullet go? Well, it never hit me. Oh, I never hit you, then why did you fall down? Well, it hit the frozen wall of ice very close to my side. What? One small piece, very sharp, broke and away from the lump of ice and pierced my body. I made a deep wound that just was like a bullet wound. Good gracious. Of course, the piece of ice melted inside me. That is the solution to the mystery disappearing. But that doesn't answer the question though. The shooting happened in the pawnbroker shop. There's no snow around. That's an idea, but we might have to look at exactly the same scenario here. Bruno, where exactly was Hurley shot again? Well, according to the report, his stomach. Sort of around this area, I think. Well, that's precisely where we have to wear. Where he always wears his little pouch on his belt. It's a pouch. Actually, I might have noticed something that... Yes, a pouch. Somewhere he keeps his glasses, glass profiles, chemicals that he used in his investigation. What? Really? Doctor, where's the pouch Mr. Sholmes was wearing? Well, the fellow had nothing like that on his person when we arrived at the hospital, as far as I remember. If I may. Von Zeeks. Well, I realize that it's forbidden for the prosecution to interject during summarization. I should inform the defense I have the pouch in question in the antechambers outside the courtroom. Sorry? As I understand it, when the police arrived at the scene, found Mr. Sholmes injured, they removed his pouch in order to assess the wound. Ah, thank goodness. I thought I was going forgetful for a while. Since then, it was been in my safekeeping for all the other evidence relating to the case. I can personally vouch for the fact that it was not been touched since the incident occurred. Very well. Well, it's really uncovering during the summons. I have determined the prosecutor to present the evidence in the question. Bring it. Let's try this again. I see. There we go. Look at that. What's the power? One of the profanity broke the leather around it. It is scorched back. What? It's almost as if the file exploded. So that night, the bullet from Mr. Skolnick's gun struck Mr. Sholmes' pouch. It was a glass vial that caused the fellow's injury. That bullet did not penetrate the victim. It was deflected into the wall shot. Something's off. A delightful, complex aroma. Well, it would appear one mystery's myself, at least. But that's no bearing to the truth of the case. The bullet along... I will help. There has to be something that we're not missing. Oh, look at that. There's a hole in the back. Doesn't look much, but the bullet hole clearly He suddenly ripped through the leather at great force. Something must have pierced it somehow left. Let's look at it that way. Mr. Solomons and his pals both took a beating, didn't it? It really... He scorched the belly there. Oh, the shot's broken. Look. It must be where the bullet hit then. Let's see here. There we go! What the... Aris, look! Where the broken area is. You can see it. Ah, that's the Sculpin Brothers bullet. What struck a lock. It hit the pouch. His pouch. This is an amazing discovery. What this means is there was 3 bullets fired at the Wendy Banks that night. We found exactly what we need the jurors are talking about. The 3rd bullet. It's time to press that drawer again, I think. Yep, and it's time we hit it. Time to press her again.
Hold it!
Now I can prove it. The 3rd bullet. Take that! Here it is. We discovered it just now. Yes. The question Wendy makes longer was fine.
Hold it!
What is this new trickery? Where did you find that bullet? Lodging in Mr. Solomons' pouch. What? The pouch was removed from Mr. Solomons' waist before he was taken to the hospital. Since then, it has been touched by no one. Look, do you mean to say the shot was fired from Sculpin Brothers that night? Yes, your lordship. As summarized, hit the pouch. But that makes no sense whatsoever. Whoever had a whereabouts, the bullet fired Mr. Solomons. Was clearly lost. No. 2 guns were fired already. Happened already submitted to. Yes. And the examination of both guns revealed that only 1 single bullet is fired from each. Oh, but that means that's right. We know that the night of the question, 3 bullets were fired. However, only 1 bullet was fired from the gun recovered from the crime scene, and unfortunately, until we recover that consistency somehow, actually, we cannot. Arg. Arg. Order. Well, while the summoning example remains incomplete, court has been presented with new facts. The facts that would appear for the sake of the foundation upon this case against the defendant was built. And many, as my prerogative stands in this situation, I would temporarily suspend the summonation of examination. But, what? Bailiff, bring the witnesses back to the stand at once. He's on to something. Yep. Witnesses, well, but why are you listening to the proceedings in the defense that carried out and stuff? What Governor we was. Perhaps we can dispense the tedious prelude and simple answer to the question. A 3rd bullet has been identified as the crime scene. What do you make of that? Make of it. I don't know nothing. Is it one of yours? Well, not. In that case, did you have an accomplice? Never. On the road is never. Oh, soon we forget Skulky. Poor Skulky. Only 2 of the bullets found in the crimes that originated from the fireman. The 3rd bullet was fired from another gun. Where is it? Where is it? Let me. It's Scratcher. Counsel for the defense? Yes. I'd hear your thoughts on regards to this new development. The 3rd bullet had a mysterious firearm. Where could it came from? Thinking back that all the testimonies we've seen, I think I'm starting to form a picture of what really happened that night. My lord, I think it's clear that the 3rd bullet would tell us that the Skulkin brothers had a secret accomplice. On the night of Wendy Banks' robbery, the brothers must have worked with the 3rd man. The witnesses clearly are doing their best to cover up an existence, but the evidence all points to the fact that there was someone else present.
Objection!
An accomplice, you say? Big. Oh boy. These active proceedings might have already forced us to endure 2 summonations. And yet, in time, there has been no murmur of a 3rd man, and apparently, let me call it. The court must show hard evidence. What up? I see the man's answer. Proof, evidence, that's the come. And secondly, the answer, and that guy. The Skulkin brothers are lying. I know that. But how can I assert their identity of the 3rd person they're hiding? Well, counsel. Defense is ready. I believe I can prove all the answers from. So, the promise is that I have to push forward now. There's no other option. I need to use every single one. The evidence is right here, in the portfolio. Why go? Portfolio. Do you explain the court door? It'll be that itself. What am I looking at here? That's bloodstain, my lord. A bloodstain. Green blood. Furious. It's something developed on Mr. Holmes' songs. I really right. I don't wish to stop. This, you see. And yet, I react to the different elements in the blood that changes color. Different elements of people's blood. Yes, everyone's blood is slightly different, you see, because it's made up of different elements. Well, by seeing the color it changes, it can tell you whose flash blood it is. Oh, that brings a whole As example, the victim, Mr. Wendy Banks, it's dragon blue. Yes, so you see the green color on the stain shows somebody else was shot in the face. How the fuck? There could be. No, it's not unrelated. The date shown on the calendar is the date in which Mr. Wayne was shot. Let go. Therefore, we can assume whatever was shot the same way. Then whose blood is it? Well, that Skulkin brothers understand down the period of suffering from any gunshot injuries. Which means it must be belonging to someone else, the third intruder.
Objection!
Here. Who is this? Remember this old chap?
Take that!
There was a man named Ed Bernadette. Whatever you're talking about, Mr. Counsel. He's paid a visit to Wendy Bank's pawnbrokery the afternoon before the incident took place, when the accused attempted to deceive the pawnbroker into releasing the article into her possession. That's right. The man identified as the defense as Mr. Eggert the Bernadette then attempted to try to take the article from the defendant by force. Yeah, you guys remember this? Inspector Gregson was there at the time, and I can test what happened. In the end, there was the inspector himself who had took the test. Can you corroborate this account, Inspector? Yes, my lord. That's more or less what happened. And the intent of being through, I asked when anybody to present the print of this fallen fellow. Taken from the red-handed recorder Gobness. Yes, that's him talking to Mr. Windybanks that morning. You claim this man's brother's accomplice? Well, Mr. Sulkin, he never seemed to get there far. Well, it's not more unsurprisingly. It appears our witnesses disagree with the assumption. I'm sure your lordship was that you could prove the identity. Yes, and I can. And show us evidence. This is the last piece of evidence. I've had a feeling something has been missing in this trial from the very start. But now, I'm going to get kicking and screaming into the courtroom. Are you ready to present your evidence to the court then? Yes, my lord. The defense will present evidence now. The blood sample again?
Take that!
This time. What is this? Are you? Good. Braces and counsel does that perform the answers to every question? I see you shared interest in the. Enough. The court demands further evidence. What?
Take that!
Don't need the guide for that. As mentioned before, that afternoon, the day in question, the defendant attempted deceitfully, admittedly, to reclaim the Wendy Banks. This one, which is therefore the right appears as seen, I believe. The man attempted to purloin the artifact from the defendant's possession, though. That's correct, my lord. I was myself was present at the time. I was following that the minor incident occurred. Of course, sir. Here's the disc. Very well. I love you very well. Goodbye. Wait a minute. this. But the music box is colored small, sharp metal punctures on its surface. The parts cause Mr. Barnett's bleed. And the result, the smear is visible on the disc now. Good gracious, a bloodstain that is. My assistant, I have analyzed the bloodstain in my report. Using the very transfer. Yes, and we've added the result to the portfolio. If you look closely, I say, it's green. Exactly the same color as the blood around the calendar. The evidence is conclusive. The man is calling himself Edward Burnett, who's in the way to make it earlier. Is the account. Here we go. There was someone else there. Well, in the question, I said, shall be summoned to the courtroom to testify. It appears suddenly we will ignore the general's appearance.
Objection!
This has gone long enough now. I've heard. He's a great detective. I just remember what Christmas over there said before. About he was temporarily suspending the in other words, the examination isn't over, is it? Wouldn't agree. What did you say, young girl? And the examination and decision as to whether the trial continues is in the hands of the 6 jurors, isn't it? So the way you see it, I see it. It doesn't matter what certain other people think of her, as I mentioned. At least, not for now. Yes, she's right. Young lady, you have quite a devious mind. It really comes down to one thing. Whether these ladies and gentlemen of the jury are convinced by what you say, Bruno. Isn't that about right, you say? Or did I misunderstand something? Unbelievable. Mr. Solon's partner is forced to be recognized. It's a real Irish lesson sharpshooter. After a shooter crystals the entire source. Almost a previous domination. You have to bring. It's absurd. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, there's one lightning system matter. I'm sure you will come to a fair conclusion, Jessica.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
Guilty.
Oh,
Guilty.
Not guilty.
oh boy. Here we go. Because they want to hear the rest. 2 counts guilty, 1 counts not guilty. Such an outcome of examination.
Objection!
My lord, with due respect, this is an outrage. The prosecution refuses to accept this decision. On what grounds? If those jurors were persuaded by... It would have... Mm-mm. I'm sorry, my Lord Motorcycles, but the outcome of the seventh cannot be describable. Alright. Alright. Nevertheless, we found ourselves in a rather awkward situation. The defense has a very reasonable request to subpoena the new witness of a new witness. But sadly, I fear that will be impossible. What? The name of the gentleman gave himself Bernadette is quite clearly false. I don't believe it. It's just as I imagined. To prove the man was there for that night. Could I say something? Who was that? Please, who spoke? It was me, my lord. Juror number 5. What have you to say about this, my now? It's possible, Inspector. Me, ma'am? I wonder if you might show me the photograph sent to me again. The one of the gentleman shown. Ah, right, yes. This is the one that man you missed over. Yes. There's no doubt in my mind. Juror number 5? You don't mean to say you know this man? Yes, I know him. What? No. God gracious. Yes. Order. Juror number 5, how on earth? I'm a communications officer, stop. As we clearly see. The gentleman in the photograph is stop. Also a communications officer, stop. He works in my office. Yes. A very talented operator, in fact, stop. He should be in communication station now, stop. Tapping away on the telegram, stop. That doesn't seem right, somehow. I can't put my finger on it, but it doesn't feel right. I suppose we all imagining the accomplice would be some hardened criminal. It's a bit unexpected that he's a respectable job day. Whether he gets out for the night. Yes, I suppose that is. I suppose that's why I felt something was wrong. And if the gentleman's in London's communication, we should be able to speak to him within the hour. Or Zeke's, if you please. Yes, my lord. Make the necessary arrangements with all haste. As your lordship would. Or the court will recess an hour for 1 hour. But when the new witness arrives, we will reconvene. Hear the gentleman's testimony. If the Inspector Gregson, yes, my lord. I should hear from you specifically about the events at the pawnbroker on the night of the question. I'd like to hear a question. Come to my chambers during the recess. Yes, sir, my lord. Very well. Court is adjourned until 1:40 p.m. Oh boy. Well, that happened. Alright guys, it's getting late. We'll continue tomorrow, and tomorrow we should finish this case and the first investigation versus adventurers. With that said, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm Gunnels3. Catch you guys later. And I might not have the microphone on tomorrow, sadly, because I do have guests, people coming over tomorrow. Or so expect a muted mic stream next week. Not tomorrow. But that's it. I'll catch you guys later.